Creatine is one of the most important supplements that I take, and it's got very strong human research to support its use. Let's explore those benefits and then answer questions about creatine safety, how best to take it, and if it causes hair loss. At a high level, as we age, our muscles become weaker, and this process is called sarcopenia. This is a big problem because the weaker the muscles become, the higher the chance of all-cause death rates, even after adjusting for fitness levels. Therefore, to delay this process, we want to maximize muscle strength in youth, maintain that muscle in middle age, and minimize that loss in older years. Which brings us to creatine supplements. The International Society for Sports Nutrition concluded that creatine supplementation is the most effective nutritional supplement currently available to increase exercise capacity and lean body mass. There's also great evidence that it enhances recovery from intense exercise. So how does creatine do this? Well, creatine is a compound made in our livers, kidneys, and pancreas. We can also get creatine from foods such as red meat and fish. And creatine is primarily stored in our muscles in a form called phosphocreatine. And it's this phosphocreatine that's the initial energy source for explosive movements such as lifting heavy objects, jumping, and short sprints. So by supplementing with creatine, we increase our phosphocreatine stores in our muscles, which can then serve as a larger supply of immediate energy to delay fatigue and enhance performance. And since creatine in the diet is primarily found in meat, vegetarians and vegans will have a greater response to creatine supplements because we want to try and rebuild their creatine muscle stores. Then what do the human clinical studies show? Well, in both the lab and in sports settings, creatine supplements for both men and women significantly increase strength and power. For example, in one study, participants taking the supplement had significant improvements in peak power output for all 5 sets of jump squats. And when we combine all of that human research together in a meta-analysis, we can see that creatine supplementation is effective to improve muscle performance. Now, I do want to mention here that creatine supplementation probably doesn't improve muscle performance for endurance sports, but we do see improved recovery after training, so there are still those benefits. And aside from just muscle performance improvements, there is a suggestion that creatine supplements will improve cognition. In a 2018 systematic review, it concluded that creatine supplements may improve short-term memory and intelligence, but this area does need further research before we can make any concrete conclusions. Now, when it comes to safety, there used to be a big concern with creatine supplements, but now we've got long-term human research going out 5 years that have consistently shown that creatine supplementation poses no adverse health risks, with the caveat that people with significant kidney disease probably shouldn't be using creatine. The other question that often comes up is, do creatine supplements cause hair loss? These concerns were raised after a 2009 study that suggested that creatine supplements increase DHT, or dihydrotestosterone, and too much dihydrotestosterone can result in male patterned baldness. But since that 2009 study, 12 separate studies have looked into creatine supplements and testosterone levels. 2 studies showed small, clinically insignificant increases in testosterone levels, but the other 10 studies reported no change in testosterone. In summary then, the current body of evidence does not indicate that creatine supplements increase testosterone, DHT, or cause hair loss. So which form of creatine is best? Well, the most studied form of creatine is creatine monohydrate, but there are many other forms of creatine available. And although these other forms are often marketed as being better absorbed by the body, the research to support these effects is very limited. So personally, I use creatine monohydrate. And the dose that I use is 5 grams every day, including on days that I don't exercise. And I do this because I want to try and help my muscles recover as best as possible. And just by the by, creatine will not break a fast. And when selecting a brand of creatine, it's important that that brand is third-party tested. So I use the website labdoor.com. So the brand that I've chosen is Optimum Nutrition. Thank you to all of the patrons and channel members, and make sure to